What's going on, everyone? It's Admin Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're talking PGA DFS picks for the 2021 AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Looking back, though, quickly, Craig, at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, pretty good with this show, with our pick show. 5 of 6 made the cut. The one that didn't is Daniel Berger. I've gone into length about that on our podcast, so download that if you want to really hear me go into it. But we had, of those five top 25s, really nice tournament, and a T2 with Xander. So,
well, yeah,
pretty nice.
I had a good DFS week. I think beyond just the picks show, I think our Wednesday show, our live full field breakdown, because both of us talked about how we were still on Brooks and we're not, we're going to continue to try to take that chance because he's a winner when it does pay off, and that's that upside that we were talking about. So
for sure,
it was a good week. Let's look for another one coming up.
Good week. Let's get a better week. Subscribe, like, that all does mean a lot to us. So please support us how you can on YouTube. We appreciate it. Looking ahead at Pebble Beach. So it's a little bit different this year. We go to a 36-hole cut. We have no amateurs in the field for the Pro-Am component. So 2 courses. We have Pebble Beach for 3 rounds. We have Spyglass for 1 round. Obviously going to alternate on Thursday and Friday there. We know Pebble Beach quite well, but looking at the previous history for this event, the winners for this event, we got Nick Taylor last year at 19 under, Phil Mickelson winning his 5th time here, Ted Potter Jr., Jordan Spieth in 2017, and Vaughn Taylor in 2016. Anything you're looking at, Craig? I mean, most golfers know Pebble Beach. Anything you're looking at for this tournament specifically, or for the changes?
I mean, the big thing about Pebble Beach for me is that our dad used to always say that he could have 4 kids or he could have played golf at places like Pebble Beach. And the way that he says it makes me always feel like I'm a little bit jealous, because I think he in his mind, he feels like he made a mistake having 4 kids and wishes he could have spent his time golfing to Pebble Beach.
Especially coming from child 3 and child 4.
Yeah, for sure. No, they were lucky enough to go to the U.S. Open there years ago. And I think the only other thing, breaking down the last 10 years of data from the Pro-Am, the one thing, similar to the other weeks in terms of what type of player it is well here, we do skew a little bit. We've had a couple tournaments where putting has been very heavily emphasized. We've skewed a little bit more back to balancing the around the green play with the putting, and I think that's just because of how small so many of these greens are and how hard they are to hit. That really that short around the green play becomes a lot more important.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Looking at the forecast here, Craig, we got on your whiteboard back there, rain is better than snow. Both of you and I think are in some snow right now in Canada, but looking at Pebble Beach, where we wish we could be, it looks like it's going to be overcast and rainy for the majority of the tournament. The second to the last column there is hours of sun, and there's 3, 4, 2. There's not a lot of sunshine, and then kind of trace amounts of rain, possibly the most on Saturday. Maybe slower.
Yeah, it'll suck for the greens, I think, for sure. I just think it's funny. My wife was telling me that it's going to be really cold. We've got the new puppy, so we have to be careful. It's going to be really cold this week. And I was like, I haven't even looked at a forecast. But I'm like, but I know what it's going to be like in California. And I realize it's been that way for, a little while now, that I have a better idea of what the weather's going to be like all over the world than I do in my own backyard.
I can tell you about Saudi Arabia last week. If you want to know about Phoenix, Scottsdale, I got that.
What our forecast is, I don't know.
Okay, let's jump into the picks here. So we're going to give you 3 picks each. I'll start off not right at the top, but my first pick is Patrick Cantlay. Coming in second on both DraftKings and FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's 11,300. On FanDuel, 11,900. I mean, he's my boy. I talked about it on our My Boy podcast episode. I really like Cantlay. Great form right now. Last 4 tournaments, he's got 4 top 20s. He's got a first at the Zozo. He's got a second at the Amex, where he charged on Sunday. Siwoo Kim took it eventually, though. Pretty good form at Pebble, too. I think course history is something I'm leaning on a little bit more here. I think it's hard to come, especially as a first-timer, and win. But I think having kind of previous good history here does weigh a lot for me. So 5 trips here. He was 21st at the 2019 U.S. Open, 4 for 4 in the Pro-Am, 2 top 11. So he's cracking that top 10, which I like to see. And then last thing, we know who Cantlay is. He's a very well-rounded, great player, probably top 10 player in the world. he's in this really weird price island on DraftKings. So he's $700 less than DJ, $900 more than Paul Casey. He's really just stuck in this weird island. So,
but it's not that weird to me when like you think about the logistics of who's in this tournament.
Right. It's a weird field though. So we have the best player in the world, a top 10 player, and then it kind of seems like a void. So are people going to start at Cantlay and build down? Are people going to go? I think DJ Cantlay is very hard to force in. So I don't know what that means, but I just wanted to point it out that he's very much on this island as his own pricing structure. I really like starting at Cantlay. You just kind of 75-80% chance DJ doesn't win. So starting at a guy that is the second most likely to win and then getting a more balanced lineup from there is something I really like this week.
Yeah. So last week at Phoenix Open, in our full field breakdown, I was talking about how I felt like I wanted to narrow my play a bit at the top, and I was talking about full fade on Rahm, and then at the time I had a full fade on McIlroy, and I had a little bit of FOMO, so I put a little bit of McIlroy into my plays, but to me, there's just not the depth at the top of the field. And so, I'll get into my pick in a second, but I'm definitely going to have Cantlay in my player pool. I don't know how much I'm going to have of him, but it's just, there's DJ, and then there's Cantlay on a tier by himself. And then there's everyone else is below that. And so I definitely want a piece of both those guys. And on that note, maybe I'll just jump right into my first pick here. I'm going Dustin Johnson. $12,000 on DraftKings. He's the most expensive there. Obviously on FanDuel as well. He's $12,400 over on FanDuel. It's really hard to know where to start with DJ, and once you get started, it's really hard to know where to stop. So I guess first things first, course history. He has, I feel like you did mention the US Open here. I think, to me, I'm looking a lot more at previous Pro-Am, AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, just because I think they set this up so differently for US Opens. So in his history here for the Pro-Am, 2 wins, 7 top 5s. So he's doing pretty well at this tournament in the past. And in terms of what has he done recently, he has also been doing pretty well. Last 9 tournaments, he's got 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and a third. And so that's 7 of 9. And this is also with me being hard on him, and I'm counting that tour championship as a 3rd place, not as a first. So if you count that as a first, then we're looking 7 of his last 9 tournaments are 1st or 2nd places. The ones that weren't, one was a 6th at the US Open that was still a pretty solid top 10. And then there was a tied for 11th. I forget where that was, but just a horrible finish for him. But so to me, I think the reason I'm going to be very heavy, probably around 50%, because his ownership is going to be crazy this week. But to me, it's sort of feels like the chances of him being outside the top 5 are so low that to me, to win this week, you're going to have to get DJ, and then you're going to have to get the other people who are going to be up at the top of the leaderboard around him. So I really just, it feels a little bit cheap to sort of use him as a pick, but it's just because what I'm trying to say is that I am going to be playing him, and I'm going to be playing him heavily.
Yeah. So I completely agree. I think nobody in their right mind should do a full fade on DJ this week. It just doesn't make sense. You have to figure out how much you want to play him, what contest you're in, all that kind of thing. You can go DJ and then try to be contrarian with your 5 other picks or try to mix it up. Or you can fade him in lineups and have maybe more balance. But you get $7,600 on DraftKings when you plug in DJ. I think there's still enough room there to get a couple other really true contenders.
And it's a flat enough other, sleepers. The rest of the field is flat enough. Yeah, I could see if you had 8 of the other top 10 players, but you don't. So DJ's win equity then just grows so much. I'm not going to make the argument you have to play him, because I think I don't play a lot of NBA, but I know some nights there's so few games that you have to play certain players, really. Because you could say, okay, so if so many people are going to be playing DJ, I'll take the chance he does, maybe he's outside the top 10 and then, but then
Yeah.
you still have to, how are you going to use that money? And I just don't see enough other quality in the field to know where I really want to spend that money and get the best value for it. So last thing, just because this will lead into
Join
my
us on
next
Wednesday.
pick.
We'll dive into it.
First strokes gained total, first strokes gained tee to green, first approach. Just because you'll see there's a bit of a trend as we move on here.
Yeah. It's DJ. It's DJ.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk more about it on Wednesday about specific allocation. My second pick here, if you do like maybe a second piece with Cantlay or maybe a second piece with DJ, but I really like Cameron Davis this week. 9,000 on DraftKings. He's 12th there. So a little bit discount. FanDuel, he's 10th ranked. 10,600. So a little bit better play on DraftKings. His start to 2021 has been really good. His strokes gained tee to green per tournament. So going from the start back. From the start. Sorry. Sony plus 1.44. Amex plus 2.25. Farmers plus 3.49. So he's hitting the ball really, really well. Strokes gained tee to green. It seems like he's getting a hull out eagle every tournament. So that definitely inflates his strokes games number. But hey, he's doing it. So something's working there. Pebble Beach with Cameron Davis. Not a great history, but he has made 2 of 3 cuts here. He's improved every year. So he's gone from a missed cut, a 59th, to a 38th. He's still a young player. I think there's potential for this to be a really good course for him. And then I kind of got deep into a theory here Monday morning. So I got to do a quick dive on this. His biggest win to date is the Australian Open. I think it's the Australian Open at the Australian Golf Club. And I think there's like a little correlation here between Australian Golf Club and Pebble Beach. So let me dive into it. So Cam Davis won the 2017 Australian Open. 5 times in the last 13 years, this course has hosted it. Snedeker won in 2007. He's won twice at Pebble Beach. Jordan Spieth won in 2014. He won Pebble Beach 2017. Matt Jones won in 2015 and 2019. And he has 3 top 10s here. He doesn't have a win here, but 3 top 10s is outperforming for his career average on the PGA Tour. And then Louis Oosthuizen and Adam Scott both have runner-ups at that Australian Golf Club, and they were both 7th at the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. So Cam Davis is the one outstanding. He won this in that tournament on that course. I think there's something here with the Pebble Beach crossover theory. So I like Cameron Davis as a second in on lineups, or possibly if you're going super contrarian as a first in with a crazy balanced lineup.
I like your. I feel like I need to come up with theories about your theories. I feel like you have a theory about Australians, it seems like, and it seems to be correlated highly with golf courses that are on either the Pacific Ocean or I don't know what it is, but whether it's Hawaii or Torrey Pines or now we're up in Pebble. I think that there's a lot to be said for, we've spoken about this before, the type of courses people play growing up and the type of courses people have a lot of exposure to.
Yeah.
And so, these like Torrey Pines and Pebble, it's more that link style course. And I do think you see that a lot more. You get a lot more success from Australian players on those type of courses. Maybe not so much in the parkland, the classic U.S. Pacific or not Pacific Northeast U.S. Atlantic. I like Cameron Davis. We've kind of seen him show teases of realizing his potential here and putting it all together. And so I think this could be the tournament we start to see it. Don't know yet for sure what my allocation is going to be on him. Stay tuned till Wednesday and we can chat about that kind of thing.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay, my next one. Moving on. Will Zalatoris. DraftKings. He is starting to get up there in price. 9,900. He's fifth most expensive there. FanDuel, 11,200. He's fifth there. I've been saying hold on Will Zalatoris as the price starts to, goes up. We're continuing to move up, and it's getting more and more expensive. But I am staying the course. I am staying the course on Will Zalatoris, and I'm saying hold. The one thing I wanted to point out, remember how I was talking about DJ and how his strokes gained stats, strokes gained total, he was first in this field for 2020, 2021. Will Zalatoris is second in this field. He's also second in this field in strokes gained tee to green. He's also second in this field in strokes gained approach.
Yeah.
So to me, I just really think he's the second best ball striker in this field right now. And I think it's who, like Paul Casey,
Okay.
or like what's the counter argument? There.
I mean,
Cantlay, I think, yeah, okay. But Cantlay does a lot of things well. Like, Cantlay's a much more balanced golfer, I think, than Will Zalatoris at this point. Whereas Will Zalatoris is much more a ball striker who's starting to put the whole game together, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
But, so, last 8 starts for Willie Z, 6 top 8, that's just what I call him, is Willie Z. 6 top 20s in 8 starts. He flirted with a really good finish last week, ended up even par on his Sunday, and only ended up with a 17th when it felt like it really was going to be a higher paying one. But still, was decent value there for that tournament. I just think, I think there's still high-end potential. I think we are going to see a win from him probably before 2021 is out. I'm going to continue to hammer on him in DFS. Minimal course history, so we have a single tournament for him here. It is, he made a cut. This was 3 years ago, so this would have been, I believe, 2017 or 2018. Made a cut, didn't have a great high, if somewhere in the 50s or 60s. So, not a lot of evidence either way, but, to me, this is...
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, I like Will Zalatoris. I think his price is just creeping up there a little bit. Still seems a little bit, I know this might not be able to be played anymore, but he still seems a little bit unproven to me. And I don't know why I have that stuck in my head. Because, I mean, 6 top 20s and 8 starts. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know for 5th pricing on both if he's going to get that win. I don't know. That's just me.
I think the other thing to me is I don't know a lot of places. Like, to me, after we get outside of this highest crust in this tournament, I feel like it gets really flat. Like, I feel like from 9,000 to 7,000, I feel like you could kind of pick and choose from that whole range, and you could come up with guys that have fairly similar chances. So what I'm trying to find are the guys who I think are just outside, like where you're just going to get an edge. And I think to me, he's one of those last guys before you start to really see the field flatten out.
Yeah, I think that the talent definitely kind of puts him above that middle tier, I guess. Okay, my third and final pick here is Chris Kirk, a guy we've been talking a lot on this show, but I'm going right back. DraftKings 7,900, he's 24th. FanDuel, he's 9,400, he's 27th there. So he's been being great. He's gained strokes tee to green in 7 of his last 8 tournaments. Obviously, this last tournament, the Waste Management, he did not. He missed the cut. But so remember, he's 24th ranked on DraftKings. His ranks this is different ranks. So Grandstand Golf DFS model on our website, he ranks 13th. Strokes gained total the last 3 months, he ranks 16th. And then scoring average from 2019 to 2021, he ranks 3rd. Like great scoring. So all those are way better than his 24th ranked pricing at 7,900. So we talk about it on the show. I think it's just a pure value play. He's one of these guys, like you said, this middle tier is so flat. He could be up at 8,600, 8,700, and I think I would still play him. So at 7,900, I really like Chris Kirk. He does have a really mixed bag here. Obviously, his career has had up and downs, but he's 4 for 8, missed cut here 4 times, made the cut here 4 times. But going all the way back to 2013, he does have a second here. So he can pop and he can get that top 5 here. He has proven that. So that's why that's just kind of the cherry on top for Chris Kirk. I think with his ball striking and his play recently, I really like to play at 7,900.
Yeah, I'm glad you put him in here because I wanted to, but I had him as one of my top sleepers last week, and he missed the cut for me. And so I felt like people might be coming for me with a pitchfork if I had picked him again this week. But he's definitely going to be in my player pool. I still think there's value there. Yes, he had a miscut and he didn't look great. Like his performance, his result was not great. But to me, I still think his game just is in a really good place. And so he is definitely someone who will be making the cut for me. Not making the cut for the tournament, for my player pool, I mean.
Well, we hope. We hope.
Okay, my last one here. Peter Malnati. Malnati has been a hard guy to figure out for the last 6 months, I feel like. He comes in 7,800 on DraftKings, so he's 26th, and 9,400 on FanDuel, 27th there. To me, it's just so hard to try to wrap your head around what he is doing and where his game is at, trying to value him. Is he super volatile, or has he just been overachieving in some tournaments? The last 8 starts, he's been in the top 21 5 times. That's really good for where Peter Malnati is priced, and where at the start of these 8 starts, you could get him for 6,000, maybe not exactly 6, but he was down in like the 62, 6,300 range. And then it's just worked his way up. He does have 2 miscuts in that time, and not great. I forget what it is, like a 40-50 kind of finish. But just so many high finishes there that it keeps me intrigued. Now, looking at him from sort of a stat profile breakdown. So first off, I told you I had the guy who was first for strokes gained total on the 2020-2021 season, and the guy who was second. This guy would be the guy who's third. So, it's if there's one thing to look at for how you're making your play, strokes gained total is probably the most reliable one. This is where I think he's overachieving, though. He's currently on the season, he's gaining 1.8 strokes on the field. He's not going to be gaining that come the end of the season.
That's not sustainable for him.
The thing that I think is encouraging, though, so his putting is awesome, and this is what I think is totally unsustainable. And he's gaining 1.25 strokes there. He's second behind, I think, I want to say maybe Ogletree, who has a tiny sample size. So of the people who have been playing a lot, he's like far and away in first place for putting. But the thing that I think is really encouraging is his approach play. So he's gaining, over a half stroke there. He's 15th in this field in terms of approach on the season. And I think this is one of the things that is the reason his results have been so good, is because you combine approach and putting, and all of a sudden you're making a lot of birdies. So if that is a number that he can continue to have success with, continue to, he's never going to be a guy that leads off the tee. But if he can continue to have the success from a ball striking point of view on approach, then I think he's going to get good results. Course history, not a ton either way. He's got a 50% cut record, which, it's not, obviously if you're going to pay 7,800 for him, that's not what you want to see. But I think his game's so different this year than it has been in the past that I don't put tons of weight in that. And that average finish of 12.7 is incorrect if you're watching on YouTube, but the 11th last year is correct. So he has gotten up in this field. So to me, it's not a top 10, but it's just outside of that, and maybe it doesn't carry as much cachet as a top 10, so it'll be a little bit under the radar.
I hear you. It won't pop on a lot of those kind of screens where the top 10 gets that green. That's that nice green. But so very similar to Kirk for me. Their history is more volatile than these golfers up top. So they are going to miss cuts, and their tournament history is more volatile. But you like to see that high finish. That does mean that they can finish here and can perform here. It's going to be gloomy. It sounds like it's going to be raining. I don't know if Peter Malnati is sunshine or not. He's strokes gained attitude. I think maybe he brings the sun. I was going to say, he can. All these other guys will be getting down. He'll be good. He did pretty good. Torrey Pines, he had a good finish. Everyone else was letting the weather get to them. He's got the kind bars. He's got the strokes gained attitude. He's sunshine, man. I like it. Yeah, I don't know how much will happen. I like Malnati a lot.
Okay, feel like we've been here for a while.
Watching. Yeah, subscribe to our channel. Watch our other videos. Make sure to like and comment. Let us know who your favorite play is for the Pro-Am at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. See you guys in the next one. Take care. Good luck this week.
Yeah, see ya.